When money is tight, why are cities and towns spending so much money, thousands of dollars, on State House lobbyists on your dime?
And they're also paying dues to an organization that also lobbies on their behalf. NBC 10 I-Team reporter Tamara Sakarsik calculated how much this is costing and then questioned city leaders.
From a $50,000 bill in Newport to a $60,000 invoice in Providence.
Would you say that's a significant amount of money?
I mean, it's a meaningful amount.
In all, a half dozen cities and towns in Rhode Island spend big bucks on lobbyists to advocate for them at the State House. Block Island spends $54,000 annually. Middletown, $53,000. Central Falls, $12,000. And Pawtucket spends $36,000.
Is that a waste of money?
I think it's up to the taxpayer to decide if it's a waste of their money, but it certainly is something they should be questioning.
Here's the thing. All of these communities also pay for a membership with the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns, an organization that lobbies on their behalf. The annual fees range from over $8,000 for Newport to over $57,000 for Providence. John Marion of Common Cause Rhode Island.
Why would you need to pay a firm if you're already paying dues, significant dues, to the League of Cities and Towns, one role of which is to do advocacy on behalf of their 39 members?
The NBC 10 I-Team took that question right back to city leaders.
Why not just do one or the other? Why use both?
Because we want to use every option that we can.
Newport Mayor Charles Holder defends the decision to spend over $12 grand on the League of Cities and Towns and nearly $50 grand on lobbying firm Capital Communications.
With the help from our lobbyists, we were able to get a cruise ship tax increase, which is big for us, and also able to get an extra 1% on our hotel taxes that are going to stay in Newport.
Holder tells me cruise ship fees are increasing from $6 to $20 per passenger in 2026. According to 2024 numbers, that would funnel an extra $1.6 million into the city, money that'll go straight into city coffers.
Do you think those would have been possible without lobbyists?
They are for sure possible, but more difficult.
Newport is roughly 35 miles from the State House, doable in a day, but challenging for city leaders with full-time jobs. Block Island chalked up its $54,000 invoice to the island's unique geographical hurdles, but Providence City Hall, well, that's just a half mile from Smith Hill.
Your office is walking distance from the State House. Why not just have city workers who are already on the payroll go and advocate?
It's not about proximity to the State House. It's about the scale and scope of our agenda. We rely on several sources of state funding that make up our budget every year, including the state pilot program, which reimburses us for tax-exempt property, of which almost half of Providence is tax-exempt. We also rely on distressed community aid.
But Providence also has the most representation at the State House.
So you would think Providence wouldn't need to hire a lobbying firm in addition to having all the other access it has to the State House.
Is it harder to justify for Providence?
Yeah, I would think it's harder to justify because they have the most resources to lobby in the first place.
Mayor Smiley claims the return rate is worth the investment.
We passed a bill that allows for taxation when a large tax-exempt institution like a college or a hospital owns property but then turns around and rents it out, acts as a commercial landlord. Those buildings used to be tax-exempt because of who owned it, regardless of the fact that who occupied the building. And so we got state law changed, and that's allowed us to level the playing field with other commercial landlords, but also bring in additional tax revenue to the city.
We reached out to the 6 cities and towns with their own lobbyists to ask them to justify the money they're spending. You can see their full statements at turnto10.com. For the NBC 10 I-Team, I'm Tamara Sakarsik.